Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball and Carlos Baseball. With me as always is Ernie Orange. We're back to you guys with winter meetings. And it's been a while since been went on. It's been 6 weeks since the World Series. I think that was the last time, Ernie.
Yeah. We're excited to be back. I know it's been 6 weeks since we've been gone. We missed you guys. We're ready to talk ball. There's been a lot going on with this winter meetings, but there's a lot of winners and losers so far, but there's still a lot of pending free agents. So it is yet not over for a lot of these teams. We're excited to talk to you here all ball and this Power Hour show today.
Dude, I don't think we can be off that much. I think if we're off that much, we're probably not concentrating on the meat of baseball, especially with winter meetings and these little trades, signings and things that are happening. We don't catch. I mean, it's not that we're keeping up, but it just shows that, hey, wait, how come they're not on talking about it? So I think that's what we're on right now, right? Because we're like, wait, there's a lot of news to talk about, and we're not even doing it. And one of the things that we want to talk about is the Mets, dude. The Mets have been one of the teams that have been talked about the most this winter meetings. And you, when I talked to you, you were like, I want to say something about the Mets. So let's start with the Mets, man. How do you feel about the Mets not signing Pete Alonso and Diaz, which were the big names, and then trading them all to Texas? How do you feel about the Mets right now?
Well, I mean, I could understand the pain the Mets fans are dealing with right now. I mean, they lost their fan favorite type players, like their best closer, their best first baseman, one of the best players in the market, and you let them go away. But Mets fans, I want you to hear this. It's okay. Let them go. It's okay to see these players walk away. It's part of the sport. You cannot keep them forever. If you're thinking about Pete Alonso, you guys enjoyed him the best of his potential years. He gave you all he could for those 5-7 seasons he was with you. Now, why would you want to pay 30 plus million for a guy that's already going to be past his prime going into age 31 season? You guys didn't win with Peter Alonso or Edwin Diaz. So you're not going to win even if you sign him and spend all this money. Yes, you have Steve Cohen, that is a owner that has a lot of money. Steven Stearns have shown that they're willing to spend, but they're not going to spend dumb this time. They want to be smart about other purchases, right? So they're going to depend on getting younger. They want to bring a little bit more speed in the base pass. They want to play better defensively. And I think they want to change their identity here in the Mets team. I think they realize that they're not just going to win with power. They need pitching. And
Yeah.
let's get that straight. The Mets have been lacking pitching for a very long time. And if you talk about this young core of Mets starting pitchers that are coming up, like Brandon Sprout, Nolan McLean, and man, Jonah Tong, these guys were spectacular as a rookies. They came and sparked this Mets starting pitching. And I think
Yeah.
that's what they need to focus on. I think they need to get more caliber pitchers to add to this team to make a deep playoff run and focus on the future, because you just signed Juan Soto for that $700+ million deal. And you need
Yeah.
to build around him with a bunch of young talent that can win. So if you ask me, if I'm a Mets fan, yeah, it's sad to see them go, but I think it's for the better. It's the best thing that could happen to the Mets right now. They'll not only get younger, and they can support and get other better cast players around for the Mets.
Yeah, and money's never an issue when this with the Mets. I mean, I know they're fan favorites. I know Pete Alonso, like you said, he's a fan favorite. You talk about Suarez, it's another fan favorite. But the thing with the Mets and when what they're doing right now, they got three players. They got Polanco. They just signed him for a 2 year, 40 million, which is not a bad signing. Then you got go ahead and trade it for Simeon, going to be playing second base, and then they got Devin Williams, dude, to be their closer. So that's a good thing for the Mets. They are signing players. They are looking at alternatives, and they're looking to, have a spark in that team. Looks like when at the end of the season, it looked like they were kind of dying off. There might have been some issues there. They traded off Nimmo, and we were thinking, why are they doing that? And that was the start for the Mets. And there's a lot of things happening with Mets fans that are saying that, why are we doing this? Why are we getting rid of the best players? There's no best players out. There's no more good players out there in the free agency. There's still a lot of like free agents out there, that can help the Mets. But I went into these pages, dude. I was telling you in the beginning before we got into the show, there's a lot of pages, Mets fan pages, that are saying that they need to go ahead and trade off with other teams. They can go ahead and get Freddie Freeman. And, that didn't sit well when I was watching these, like, Freddie Freeman. Why are they talking about Freddie Freeman when they can go ahead and spend a little bit less on a Paul Goldschmidt?
Yeah.
That guy is ready to play first base for the Mets. He still like has some pop in his bat. He can be in the middle of the lineup and he can help Juan Soto. So Marcus Semien is not something you can, be like, he's not all that good. He is good. He won a World Series title with the Texas Rangers, so he has that experience. Juan Soto won a World Series with the Nationals, so you have these players that have been to the playoff, that's gotten all the way to the World Series. Some of those players have won it. So for Mets fans out there, and you said it's going to be okay, yes, it is going to be okay. Sometimes you just have to refresh, and you have to get new teammates into that clubhouse. But let's talk about a little bit of Juan Soto. Why do you feel like, or do you feel like maybe these players didn't want to sign with the Mets because of Juan Soto, or was it the organization or other stuff that's happening in that team?
Yeah, there's definitely some tensions there. Ever since Jose Iglesias left, that, oh my God, the vibes changed ever since Juan Soto got paid. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. When you got a guy like him with that type of personality, that ego, it definitely is going to change a clubhouse. And it changed the whole momentum from the previous year they had.
yeah,
Now, Juan Soto, he depends a lot on his other team members to come big, and a lot of the team players didn't come up last year. Mark Viento has had a down year. Brandon Nimmo was a big support, but then he wasn't that spectacular player. And I think they really needed Marcus Semien, a big spark that could play better defense in second, a guy that does known for hitting over 300. You're expecting Mark Vientos to bounce back. And then Jorge Polanco, which was a big signing for me. I think he was a spectacular player in the AL, the divisional playoff round, and he played really well. And I think he's the key piece to come in to play first base this year. And
yeah.
with a much cheaper option than what Pete Alonso was going to cost.
That's true.
Now,
That's true.
last year he had 26 home runs, maybe not as big as power as Alonso, but he doesn't strike out as much as Alonso does. Pete Alonso is known to strike out over 150 times a year. It's automatic. He's never been a top 5 MVP go-getter. There's definitely had to be some tensions there with Juan Soto. They're just not going to say it. I mean, it's part of the sport. They got to deal with it in the clubhouse, but I think Juan Soto's ego definitely changed the mindset and the momentum going forward. And I think they just got to start with fresh arms. And I think that's what they're going to go with. And I think they're just going to go for another veteran arm they can add to that starting rotation to add to Kodai Senga and the 3 young rookie pitchers.
True. The guys that departed the Mets are Nimmo, Diaz, Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso, Helsley, Gregory Soto, and Cedric Mullins. And I don't really remember Cedric Mullins with the Mets, dude. I don't know. I might have fallen asleep in that part, but I don't remember him being a Met. I always thought he was an Oriole. And I do remember the trade, but I don't know. It wasn't a big impact for me when he went to the Mets. It's weird, right?
Let's be honest. The Mets did not have the best trade deadline. They did go after Ryan Helsley, which did not work out so well. He was kind of blowing up some saves there. Cedric Mullins wasn't the answer either in the outfield.
Yeah.
And they also brought Taylor Rogers, who was supposed to be an 7th and 8th inning guy. Also, he did okay, but now it's also just signed with the Blue Jays, so they're also losing him. But I think Devin Williams is going to be just fine. I think he also another guy that dealt with issues in that clubhouse with New York with the beard situation, having to be the guy that changed the rule. Now that the Yankees are going back to their old traditions, that clearly tells me that there was some issues with Devin Williams in that New York media. He felt it. Obviously staying with the rival team Mets, but I think he's going to feel much at ease knowing that he could do whatever he wants with his beard.
Dude, it's been a lot of drama with all these free agents. Like when Devin Williams signed with the Mets, a lot of Yankee fans went to Twitter, went to all these social media platforms, started saying that, man, what the hell? They changed the rule for you and you decided to leave? Like, dude, he was not pitching all that great with the Yankees. And you were like getting on him every time you had a chance to. You were booing him at one point. So what do you think a player's going to want to stay with the Yankees getting booed? No, of course not. I'd rather go to a team it's going to appreciate me and, give me my chance and give me my flowers. And this is where the drama started too, because when he signed, now you're talking about Edwin Diaz not wanting to go with the Mets. I guess he said that the Mets didn't even reach out and say anything to him, that they were going to go ahead and get Devin Williams. So a lot of drama, dude, a lot of drama. You agree?
Yes, there definitely has been. You got the Sonny Gray situation saying that he never liked the Yankees. There's a lot of drama these days. These free agents are speaking their minds today, and they're not afraid to say it. But let's go into the free agent signings. There's been a lot of free agent signings over the past couple weeks. Which one's been the biggest shocker for you?
Right now, the one that shocked me is going to be Edwin Diaz, dude. Why? Because we've talked about it here in the show. You know, Tanner Scott was the closer for the Dodgers, as we all remember, and saw that he did not perform well. He did not do anything like they were demanding him of. But now they went and got Edwin Diaz, and that surprised me when I saw the 3-year deal, and I'm like, what? All right, okay. I mean, we talked about it. We said they asked us about it on the show, and we said no. I think they still have Tanner Scott. They gave him a big contract, so that one surprised me. And I'm gonna go ahead and say Schwarber kind of surprised me as well, signing with the Phillies. I felt like the
Hmm.
Phillies were going to try to move on, get a little bit younger, but he feels that there's a lot of unfinished business in Philadelphia. They've been together 3-4 years now. They haven't done anything. They went to the World Series, yes, but they lost to the Astros. Now they feel like they can get together and win it all. But is it too late for the Phillies? I mean, we'll only know until next year, but I thought he was going to go somewhere else, to be honest. There was a lot of teams going after him. There was teams offering way more money than what the Phillies were. So,
Yeah, I think he just definitely Kyle Schwarber. I mean, what a class act. He just wanted to stay local, wanted to stay with the Phillies, wanted to finish the job, like you said. They also extended Rob Thompson, their manager, who was also I thought was on the hot seat, but
yeah,
unfortunately, I think Dave Dombrowski and the ownership group, I think it just wants to see them continue to have success, and they don't want to break down this group at all. Now, I think Kyle Schwarber joining the team is back. It's the best thing that can happen to the Phillies. I'm not sure if it's going to work out for them to win the World Series, but at least it'll be in playoff contention again, given all the
yeah,
talent they have surrounded with them.
yeah,
Now they have Bryce Harper to pair him up with Trey Turner. The pitching staff's not it's just as good anyway. So I think the Phillies will be fine. I don't know if they just could beat the Dodgers with the roster they have right now. They
yeah.
need more work. Kyle Schwarber should not be the only answer. They need to move off Nick Castellanos, which I think they've been trying to trade him, but they can't find any suitors.
Mm-hmm.
Alec Bohm has been mentioned time and time again. I think they need to figure that out as well. Maybe
Yeah.
go for an Eugenio Suarez as a third baseman there. I think that would be a huge upgrade and would make a big impact for that Phillies and the NL East, rivalry with the Braves that they have there. So,
Yeah.
man, I don't know, man, but this Phillies team got to get it together because I don't think what they have now has enough to beat the Dodgers. Talking about Edwin Diaz, though, man, what a huge signing there for the Dodgers. You saw how much they struggled with the bullpen this year in the playoffs, and they wasted no time. They went right after what they wanted. They went for the trumpet guy. They thought that's the best closer in the game. Tanner Scott, move over. We're paying you to be that eighth inning guy, but I think Edwin Diaz just right now is a little bit more locked in, and hope he can find his pitches with the Dodgers, and hope he doesn't become the next Tanner Scott. It's a big concern when you pay these guys big money and they're a bit older. It's a little scary for bullpen guys, but I mean, hoping the best for Edwin Diaz. I think he'll fit right in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's a big, big, big move for the Dodgers.
What was your big surprise this winter meeting so far?
Yeah, let's be honest. I think the biggest signing right now has been Pete Alonso to the Orioles. I mean, who would have saw that coming? I think we thought Pete Alonso maybe possibly going back with the Mets, the Red Sox, but the Orioles? I mean, the Orioles have been promising the past couple seasons. They showed huge offensive numbers, but last year they had a really down season, and it felt like they just couldn't get it together with their young bats. Now you bring a veteran like Pete Alonso to the middle of the lineup. I think it's just a huge upgrade to that lineup. And now I think the Orioles just need to focus on some pitching. It's been the kryptonite for them the past couple seasons, letting go of Corbin Burns and a lot of other pitchers. I think they need to go for some veteran arms, and I think they're in the mix for some top talent out there in Baltimore. I think Mike Elias already mentioned that. We're not looking down. We're getting pitching. That's a matter of fact who comes in, and they're going to bring some pitching because that Orioles team has what it takes to compete with Gunnar Henderson and the young kids, Ali Rushman. They just need a veteran guy like Alonso that could help them. And it's the second largest contract in Oriole history, mind you, which
Yeah.
is a big, big thing. I mean, if you guys know who's the first one, it's Chris Davis, who's considered one of the worst contracts in history. I don't think
Yeah.
Pete Alonso's that type of guy. I think they still got 3 good 4 years of Pete Alonso before he starts declining. But what a huge move for this Orioles team. A small market team that was not expected to make big moves and is competing out there with that AL East because it's competitive, man. Let's talk about the Yankees. The Blue Jays aren't playing around either, man. This
No.
Blue Jays team said, hey, we were one couple outs away from winning the World Series. How can we beat this Dodger team? Well, we're going to only get better. So props to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and they're getting better. They signed Dylan Cease. We didn't talk about it because we weren't on the show, but everybody's already knowing that. Oh, look at the pitching staff that the Blue Jays have compared to the rest of the East. The Orioles need to go ahead and get signings or going to trade for some players. Why? Because their hitting's going to be great, but their pitching's not there. You got the Yankees that are going to be good. They're going to have Garrett Cole coming back into that staff, and that staff is going to look pretty good. Is it better than the Blue Jays? We'll have to wait till 2026, but I think they're both going to be competing for that first place. And the Red Sox are not done either, dude. The Red Sox, they still need a third baseman. They still need to go get pitching, which they did. They got Sonny Gray, but I think they're not done. And then you still have the Tampa Bay Rays, dude, that always show up. They always find ways to win. They always find a way to have their pitching staff ready to go, their bullpen, and they're always finding hitters out there. I don't know how they do it, but they do it, and they're always in the mix, dude. So that division's only getting stronger. The Orioles did the right thing with getting Pete Alonso, but now we need to go ahead and see what they're going to do with pitching because they traded away their pitcher to the Angels. Remember that.
Grayson Rodriguez is one that's been out there. Exactly. So I think this Orioles team would just be fine. I think they're going to be much more competitive this year. They got Jackson Holiday's not only getting older, still very young. About these guys are all under 25. Gunnar Henderson, Rushman, Jackson Holiday. Man, these kids are only going to get better. And you add a veteran like Pete Alonso. Sky's the limit for this team. Now, like you said, the pitching is one of their main concerns, but I think they'll figure it out, man. I think they have a couple pieces there with like Zach Eflin, Kyle Bradish coming back from injury, Sugano. I think they're just gonna find a couple of arms that they could take over for that 4/5 starter role.
Yeah, and there's still players out there that are about to that want to get traded, want to get signed. Alex Bregman is still out there. He's still a third baseman. I think the Red Sox, if I made a prediction, I think the Red Sox are going to go ahead and get him. You still have pitchers out there like, give me one name. There's a few names out there. There's the two Japanese sensations that are coming. Yeah, there's plenty to choose from. I'm just kind of like
there's
one.
Michael King.
Michael King, dude, he hasn't signed.
Michael King is one of the top suitors out there. Every single team wants this guy. You got Framber Valdez available. Man, the names continue to pile up. Mackenzie Gore's potentially going to get traded. There's a lot of star-studded pitchers out there, man. And these teams are going to have to pay a lot of money to get these stars because everybody desperately needs pitching, and it's going to come down who offers the most money. But talking about Michael King, I think he's one of the best arms available right now in this free agency, and he's already been linked to like almost 10, 15 teams. But I think he's already decided down to his 3 teams, and he's going to choose between 3 AL East teams. Since he's a Rhode Island kid, he wants to come back home to the East. He's deciding between the Orioles, the Red Sox, or the Yankees. Damn. What do you think about that? Will he have another reunion back with the Yankees, which is already pretty deep in pitching? They already got Carlos Rodon, Garrett Cole, and they already got a lot of pitchers like Clark Schmidt also with injury, so they potentially could bring him back. The Red Sox are very sneaky. They're always willing to pay for pitching to pair him up with Gray, Crochet. Man, that would be nasty. But I think the Orioles have the most money there. I think they're the most team with the hungriest. They know they need pitching, and I think they will pay him the top dollar that he deserves.
Yeah, and I agree. Maybe he would go with the Orioles, and that would kind of help with the Orioles. Yes. The one that surprised me is Ranger Suarez hasn't been mentioned, even though this guy has a low ERA in the past few seasons, and I don't see him being linked to any team so far. And that's the crazy part. Why not go after a lefty pitcher that's going to pitch for you in your team? I know he's gotten little injuries here and there. He's been sidelined, but he gets there his 180 innings pitch a year. That's good. That's plenty good especially for all these teams that are like the Orioles that need pitching. They can go after him. There's teams out there that can benefit from him, like the Mets. They haven't even reached out. The Braves are another team. These are teams that they can go ahead, the Diamondbacks. So, that's the one that surprises me so far, dude. Why? Because it's not really mentioned out there. And I think he's a good pitcher, dude. Right?
Yeah, I think the talent's definitely there. I'm not sure if he has probably not the right agent working for him right now, making the best moves, especially he's a Latino player. Maybe probably doesn't have the best agent possible. But I think, Ranger Suarez and Framber Valdez are going to get the best deals possible. Now, I don't know where they're going to sign. They're kind of iffy there right now. I'm not too sure where they would potentially sign, but I think Framber Valdez is a top suitor for any team, a great lefty arm there. Man, there's a lot of potentials out there. Hey, Ernie, what do you think about the Angels signing Orange County bred Alek Manoah to a 2-year deal? Hey man, I'm not sure what I like about this move. The Angels continues to do this year in and year out. They sign these high risk, low reward type guys. I'm not sure I'm all for it now. I mean, great for Alek Manoah. Hopefully he gets another chance. Hopefully he could become that next ace that he was once promised to be. But I don't think he's going to be the difference maker for this Angels rotation right now. I think we need better arms. And I think the Angels are just going to ride with the young arms they got, like Jose Soriano, Caden Dana. They're expecting big things from them now. But man, this Angel team continues to let me down on the free agency signing. They don't go for the big guy names, don't want to pay the top dollar. They're scared. I mean, look at what they had to spend for Rendon.
Yeah.
They spent for Hamilton. They spent for Pujols. A lot of bad contracts in the past decade. And I think they're just afraid to make that big payday again for another player that could let them down.
I would be too, though, and not just because it's an Angels organization. It's just anytime a player signs with your team, you're thinking the best. You know, that we're going to win the World Series with this player. We're going to do so many things, and then they get injured. And you're like, damn, how long is he out for? Is he going to come back the same? As a fan, you start talking about those things. Now, you had these contracts with the Angels where you kind of think about these contracts and you're like, damn, I remember this player did this. I remember that player. There's so many players that the Angels signed that they had to go through it. So there's a lot of fans out there from other teams that realize it's crazy to be an Angel fan. Like, dude, you put up with it. You see it. You're like, shit. Are they going to sign a big player? But is he going to stay healthy? You know, like that's one of the things. So it's going to be crazy, dude. Like if they do sign a big contract, I know all Angel fans are going to be like, man, is he gonna stay? Is he gonna stay healthy? And we're all hoping for that because the Angels are deserving of being a good team. Why? Because they're in California. It's sunny. They have a big market as well. Like and they've had these big players show up for the Angels. It's just when the Angels have these players and they try to bring more players for Trout, for some reason it doesn't work out, dude. And it's not because it's a bad clubhouse. It's just because they get injured and they just don't want to play anymore. Like Rendon.
Yeah,
It's just a perfect example.
yeah, it's very unfortunate for the Angels. They've dealt with a lot of nagging injuries from these players. They try to bring support for Mike Trout, like you said. I mean, they brought Chris Taylor last year. They're bringing Bon Grissom this year. Grayson Rodriguez, guys that have been banged up, hoping they could, find their second win with the Angels. But it seems like they continue to get hurt, and it doesn't work out for us. I mean, the Grayson Rodriguez was a great trade. I think we sold high for Taylor Ward, and we got the best pitcher available and locked in for the next 4 years. I think that was a great move by Perry Nation. But other than that, we just haven't really signed any top tier caliber free agent out there in the market. And it sucks, but a lot of free agents don't want to come to the Angels. Why would you?
Yeah.
So we got to start them from the farm system, and the farm system's not that great either. So it's going to take some time. It's going to be a rebuilding phase. And if you're an Angel fan out there, you just got to be patient. This may take a couple of years more before Sagneto, Joe Adell become those star players that we're hoping they will be. And we'll finally, start developing little by little.
Yeah, that's good. He said it right here.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. I just wanted to add one more thing. With the trade that happened with the Angels, I honestly like that trade. I felt like the Angels did good, dude. I think they were like, okay. I felt kind of like, what are the Orioles doing? Exactly. Why are they getting rid of their pitching? But I mean, that's what that's what I thought, and I just felt like this is a good way for the Angels to show that they care, that they want to put a pitching staff out there. They're young. I know Mike Trout's getting older by the day, and a lot of people are still kind of questioning, is he going to get traded? And I've asked you this a long time, and I ask you every time. I feel like every year I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to feel like this is this is it. Trout's going to stay there. And they're going to try to build and try to see if this young core can try to push them and get them into the playoffs. Because he does need to go to the playoffs so he can have a better stat line and to see what he can prove, right, in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he's deserving of that.
I think Mike Trout's very much deserving. He's a future Hall of Famer, and I think he deserves to be there in that playoff environment. Now, if he doesn't get there, it's okay. He won't be the first player to not ever make the playoffs in his career. I mean, he's been there once. I mean, got one hit.
And a home run. That's a home run.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess, right?
Yeah. All right, let's move on, man. Do you? I wanted to ask you. Do you feel like this free agency is gonna be like the last year's free agency where players started signing right up to spring training, or a week after, 2 weeks after spring training? Because I want to say the past 3-4 years has been like that. to where
Yeah,
some
I
of these
mean,
players are holding out.
exactly. But this year around, it looks way much more different. You see a lot of teams actually wanting to pay these guys now. They're starting to realize they desperately need to make a first move if they want to get their guy they want, because if not, these other teams are going to reach and take them away from you. So just alone, I mean, Peter Alonso last year almost waited to spring training to sign, and just alone this year, look at him. It's already mid-December, and he already got signed.
Yeah,
And Kyle Schwarber already got signed. They wasted no time. These teams are actually willing to spend now. They're starting to see how the Dodgers are doing. Hey, the Dodgers are spending, and if we don't spend, we're not going to win either. So I
yeah,
think teams are finally coming to the realization, like, all right, let's be real. You're a $30 million guy. What can we do to get you back? And I think that's what Kyle Schwarber said. You know what? I'm a DH. I can't complain. I don't play defense. Uh, and that's a pretty good deal to me. I mean, I'm going to
yeah,
be set from a career, 5 years, 150. I mean, anybody would take that $30 million, Carlos. I mean, it's not a
yeah,
bad deal to not even play defense. That's pretty awesome.
yeah. It is,
So
and
this has been a different winter meetings, different free agency class for sure. There's definitely with top tier arms going on right now in the span of the next couple of weeks, Christmas time around. These teams are going to make these big splashes for these guys. But trades wise, I'm not sure if there's going to be more trades, but I think there's a lot of trade talks also happening as we speak right now.
yeah, and with that, I want to go ahead and bring the Tarik Skubal, man. There's been a lot of rumors. We just said it that is it AI that's developing these questions for us to talk about it or to even entertain, us reading what's going on because we've been looking to some of these trades and Tarik Skubal is one of them, of course, and the Dodgers have been tied up to it. Like, and do you believe it? Do you not believe it? And for me, I'm like, okay, I'm falling into that trap of that happening, but at the same time, I'm like, let me step back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a GM, why am I going to make a strong team even stronger by trading away my top pitcher? If I'm
Yeah.
gonna trade my player and it's in the top of the line of all freaking pitchers,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just trade them off to you just like that. I'm gonna make you pay for it. I'm gonna make you pay me 5 players to get Skubal.
You know,
And it doesn't look like that when they put the rumors out there. But go ahead.
man, I had the same thoughts as you. Like, why would they ever want to trade Tarik Skubal? Was one of the best pitchers in this generation. And then I sat back and I was watching their GM Jeff Greenberg talk on MLB Network, and the guy seemed like he was all ears for all these teams. He was willing to hear offers and see what these teams had to offer. And I was like, "What the heck? Are you serious? This guy's willing to trade Tarik Skubal?" He didn't
Yeah.
clearly said it that way, but he just heard that he's listening.
Yeah.
And that threw me off. I was like, are you serious? This is the best pitcher in baseball. That just clearly told me that the Tigers are thinking, you know what? We already got the best of Tarik Skubal. We got him for two Cy Youngs already. The chances of him winning 1 or 2 more are pretty slim. Let's actually get as young as possible and not have to pay this guy that big contract, the biggest contract for a pitcher. So
Yeah.
I think the Tigers are all in. I think they are willing to trade him. They're not going to make the same mistake with like the Angels holding on to Shohei Ohtani. I think they're all ears from all these teams. It just depends who's going to give the best offer out there. Now that Dodgers one has been the craziest rumor right now out there
Yeah.
by MLB fans. They're coming up with these crazy rumors, crazy ideas, like all these different players they could possibly trade to get Tarik Skubal, and I'm like, that is wild. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? You think the Dodgers could make that big splash and go after Tarik Skubal? And would that even be fair for baseball, man? After you guys going out for the best player,
Dude, I honestly feel like if the Dodgers go ahead and get Skubal, I think it's over. It's just you're going to win the World Series again on paper, of course. And we've said it on this show. You can't win the World Series on paper. Look how scared I was last year or this year, this World Series. I was thinking that the Dodgers were just going to go into the World Series, dominate the Blue Jays. And no, it didn't happen that way. When you said it, they're going to go game 7. And I'm like, why game 7? Ernie knows something. And you watch the Blue Jays play during the season. I didn't do that. I didn't
I
do
did
that.
watch
I
a little
just
bit
saw
more.
highlights. I saw highlights and stuff like that, but that didn't impact me as much. Now, if the Tigers do trade Skubal to the Dodgers, now this year on paper, I'm going to say it again. I'm like, damn, freaking Dodgers are set. But like I said before, why would the Tigers do that? Why would they try to make the best team even better with Skubal? Now, if they make them pay and the Dodgers are willing to pay for all that stuff and give away those players and even give away a paying contract that the Dodgers are going to pay, but he's going to be with the Tigers and they can do that. I mean, the Tigers did their job, right? So that's a possibility. I heard that there was a Glass now that was going to be part of that trade, but I guess he came out now saying that they called him and say you're not part of it. So I think AI has all these possibilities out there. People are just putting the answer the questions out there. They're asking
Yeah,
AI what trades make
ChatGPT, man.
sense. Yeah,
ChatGPT, all you got to do is like, what do the Dodgers have to do to get Tarik Skubal? And then
yeah,
ChatGPT will throw all these crazy ideas of who the Dodgers need to trade to get Tarik Skubal. It is wild times these days. AI has changed the game of all these pictures, man. That you could.
yeah.
It's hard to believe what is real, what's not these
Yeah,
days.
exactly, dude. That's what's
So
hard about it right now. And that's why we're kind of like, okay, we have to get on. We have to talk about these things because a lot of people are not saying that AI is doing these things. They're putting these questions out there and saying that, you know what, these crazy trades are going to happen. No, dude, you start thinking about it. Like there was one that I wanted to tell you about. It's the one with Freddie Freeman, Pages, and Glass now to the Mets for Lindor. Like, in what vicinity does that make sense? Like to me, it doesn't. And if you talk to like all Mets fans, they're all into it. They're all saying that's a possibility. That's gonna work. I think the Dodgers are dumb if they don't take this trade. And we're on this side of the world on the West Coast thinking like, what? Where did you get that from? What? Who put that out there? You know? So to me, it doesn't make sense. I know maybe if the Dodgers are trying to shed some salary, I get it, but I don't see it happening. I think Freddie Freeman's a freaking fan favorite out here. Why would you do that? You know,
yeah,
so Pages, you're not paying anything to Pages. So why?
yeah. I see it
Right?
very slim for Skubal to get traded right now. I mean, I would be really surprised if it does happen in this offseason. I could see it happening more towards the trade deadline if the Tigers seem to not be playing
And
that well
contending.
in contention.
Yeah.
Then I could see that, be like, okay, I can see why.
Yeah.
But for the Dodgers to make that splash right now, I don't see what other team would be willing to pay Tarik Skubal that much money. And for probably a
Not right now.
1 year rental, nah, that's too risky, man.
Yeah. And that's the, I mean, I don't know what the negotiations are for Scooble or whatever, but I read into all of them, dude, and I can tell you that they're waiting for to see if he agrees to a contract after, that he gets traded. All those things get put into that trade and everything. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy this year as opposed to last year. I've been reading a lot of things and I'm like,
Yeah,
what's going on out there?
every day there's some news breaking out in
Yeah,
baseball. I feel like people are just missing it already so much that they need to talk about it. So it's
yeah,
crazy baseball. It's growing sport right now. It's the numbers continue to rise. And let's just get excited, guys. I mean, World Baseball Classic is 3 months away. I know people want to talk about the World Cup already and getting excited for that. But
yeah,
no, there's another type of World Baseball Classic happening 3 months before. And that's going to be so different and I think so exciting this year. I think we just may have to make a trip out there, Carlos. We may have to
yeah.
go to Houston or go to Miami. It could be a great excuse to finally go visit Miami for once in my life. I mean, baseball in Miami and real talk baseball in Miami. Why not? 2 for 1.
2 for 1 out there in Miami or in Houston, wherever we decide. I think we should try to see if we can go to a few games out there. I want to ask you about predictions with Kyle Tucker, the number one guy, free agent out there that hasn't been talked about a lot. And he's
Yes.
been tied to Cody Bellinger. A lot of people has been saying, and a lot of teams been saying that maybe we should go the cheaper route with Bellinger, which is he's looking for a 5-6 year contract. It's not
Yeah.
something simple either. But Kyle Tucker's looking for more of a 10-year. At his age, I don't know if he's going to go ahead and get that. So where's Kyle Tucker going to land? And do you feel like Kyle Tucker deserves all those years and all that money that he's looking for?
You know what? I think there's only one team that's willing to pay that. I know Kyle Tucker was linked to the Dodgers. He was linked to the Yankees. He was linked to the Cubs. He was linked to almost a lot of teams. But I don't think a lot of teams are willing to pay that long-term contract that he wants. Dodgers are saying, hey, we'll give you 2-3 years, high ABB, if you take it or you want it. And I don't think he's fully convinced. There's this one team, though, that just came out of nowhere. They were just in the World Series facing the Dodgers, and that is the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think they realized, hey, we bring a Kyle Tucker in the middle of our lineup, we'll be even better than the Dodgers going forward. You saw how much we were able to put that pressure on the Dodgers. Now we add Kyle Tucker, one of the best lefty hitters out there in baseball. Now we'll be one of the best teams in the American League to overtake the Dodgers. Yeah. I think that the Blue Jays are the only team right now hungry enough, and they saw how their fans responded when they were in the playoffs. how exciting Canada baseball got. And I think they're the only team willing to pay that top dollar. There's already been rumors that Kyle Tucker already went to visit the Blue Jays. I think it's just a matter of time between the ownership deciding how much they really want to give him and for how many years. But I think he's going to the Blue Jays. That is my prediction there. Kyle Tucker will be a Blue Jay, and that's going to be a scary Blue Jays team if you ask me.
Yeah, and I think the Blue Jays are realizing that they can go ahead and pay these players because they have a whole nation behind them. They found out in this playoff that Toronto, all of Canada was wearing Blue Jays hats. So I think knowing that a nation's behind you and that the money's going to be coming in, they can go ahead and do that. Yeah. They can go ahead and do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they got Kyle Tucker and someone else. I still think that they're going to get someone else. They still have to go and talk to their shortstop, Boucher. He hasn't been signed either. Yeah. So those are two players that if the Blue Jays get in that freaking lineup, they're going to be scary. And they're going to be able to compete with the Dodgers or whoever is out there. You saw that they competed without him in the World Series, and they did a really good job. Now getting this addition to that lineup, like you said, it's going to be crazy, dude.
Yeah, this Kyle Tucker, though, he's a great player. He just, the past couple seasons, he's been dealing with some nagging injuries in the middle of the season that's impacted his second half of the years. And it's going to be concerning. And I think that's where these teams are scared to give him that top dollar, that top contract, because they're seeing, hey, man, well, you're never healthy these past couple of seasons. We need to see a full healthy year before we could pay you that big contract. And that's a big concern, but I think Kyle Tucker to the Blue Jays makes the most sense for me right now. I think the Yankees were hoping to bring Kyle Tucker, but I think Cody Bellinger seems like a cheaper option. And I think Cody Bellinger's just going to wait out the Kyle Tucker situation and get the best deal possible. When a team misses out on the best free agent, then they get that spread and overpay for the next second guy.
Yeah. And I think that's what Cody Bellinger's waiting for. I think he's going to be at the end of the day. I got a feeling he's going to sign with the Yankees again. The Yankees do need him in that middle of the lineup. He's that right fielder that they need, or center fielder that the Yankees need. So I don't think the Yankees are going to be so invested in Kyle Tucker, but they are going to overpay for Cody Bellinger because, like you said, when you have a free agent that's going to pay a lot of money and you don't get him, and that's the guy that's going to make a difference in your team, you go for the second guy. And there's going to be a lot of teams bidding for Cody Bellinger because they all need center fielders, right fielders. So
and you need a left bat.
Lefty bat. Yeah, you need that lefty bat. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But there's plenty of other teams and other names that are out there too. Dustin May signed with the Cardinals for a 1-year deal. I think that's good for him. The Braves are another team that I think they're not done either. They have that money. And, Ronald Acuna.
They went for Mike Jastrzemski. Mike Jastrzemski got signed by the Braves. It was kind of a question mark. But, I mean, they only add more depth to their outfield. You could never go wrong with more bats in your lineup. Injuries do happen, and you always need the most depth. Jamal says, don't worry. The Orioles can always call Charlie Morton on speed dial. They sure can, man. And he's always available. He's our modern day Phillip Rivers, man. Ready to go. Call him, he's ready.
I was rooting for Phillip Rivers today, man. I was watching the game and I'm like, come on, man, you can pull it off. You can beat Seattle. You can do it. Dude, he did a good job for his first game back.
We had a grandpa playing in the NFL today. All right, let's get that right. And he threw a touchdown. And they lost by a point. Against one of the best defense in football. So, man, that was impressive. We got Kenley Jansen going to the Tigers. Neto saying here, good for Jansen. Dude was great. Hey, man, it is amazing that Kenley Jansen gets another opportunity. I know the Angels were trying to sign him back as well, but the Tigers ended up giving him a couple $1 million more. And great for him. I know right now he's at 469 saves. He needs 31 more saves to reach that number 500. Future Hall of Famer with one of the best cutters in baseball. What an inspiring story from Kenley Jansen. If you guys know his backstory, he was once a catcher from Curaçao. So good for him. I think the Tigers not only bolster the bullpen with Will Vest, I think Tommy Canley's still there. That's an impressive bullpen that could help this Tiger team make a deep run.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun to see at the end, dude, because it's always fun to see, older cats come out and play if they do come back and play. I know Charlie Morton, I don't know if he's going to come back. It's different than football, even, but coming back in football like Phillip Rivers, dude, he looked good. I don't know. Did you see the game?
Yeah, I mean, he has this weird angle the way he throws a ball. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I mean, I know you're a Chargers fan. You grew watching Phillip Rivers for
Yeah,
over a
yeah.
decade, so it must have been something weird, watching it on TV. Like,
I'm
what?
used to seeing him throw the ball like that, dude. It
I
kind
think
of
so.
looks weird, like he's pushing it. It looks kind of weird.
Yeah, but
He's
Charlie
been,
Morton, I know he probably still would have wanted to be pitching again. So there's a couple older guys out there still available. I know Charlie Morton's one of them. Merrill
Mhm.
Kelly, he's going
Merrill
back to the
Kelly.
Arizona Diamondbacks, another guy up there in age.
Yeah.
A lot of veterans like Kelly, guys like that that are coming back for those 1 year deals. It's perfect. They
Yeah.
get they get their money and they get a chance to still play baseball. So good for them.
Yeah. There's another one before we go ahead and sign off. I wanted to talk about Corey Seager has been mentioned a lot in these past few days. Do you see him getting traded from the Rangers to another team?
Yeah, I mean, at first, after I saw the moves after the Marcus Semien trade, I'm like, oh man, the Rangers are actually going to blow up this team. Watching them blow up, let go of Merrill Kelly today, I was like, okay, that is a possibility. But I mean, Chris Young today, the GM of the Rangers, just came out to say that that is fake news. That is not real. They're not letting go of Corey Seager. That's not a possibility. They're riding with him all the way. They're trying to build around him. And I mean, Corey Seager is that guy. I mean, I know he hasn't had the best couple seasons with the Rangers since he's been there. I mean, he did win one World Series. That year was impressive, but ever since, the Rangers team has been on the decline. And I think they're just trying to get younger and have a better supporting cast for him.
Yeah. I didn't, I mean, I don't know what to believe anymore. And there's been a lot of rumors out there that we're trying. I don't know about you, but when I see a rumor and I say like, wait, is this real? And I go into like social media and try to see if there's other
Man,
things or other sources talking about this. One of them that I do look at is John Heyman. I usually go to check his page, and if he doesn't have it on there, I think it's like, okay, someone just asked Chat GBT and brought the question up, and a lot of things are blowing up. See, a lot of people are followed on social media. They have this great following, and they believe everything that they say, dude. So I'm trying to debunk it. If I try to debunk it, I'm like, okay, I'm not posting on this. Like, this is not real news. You're just putting that prediction out there, and you're just wanting it to come true.
so
But
it could be
you're not.
clickbait.
Yeah,
It's all this
yeah.
clickbait.
But
Or
it does start conversation though,
it
and
does
our
start a
conversation
conversation.
on baseball, it's good, dude. Like, and I think that's why we got on, because we were like, wait, there's too many rumors. Like, I've
Yeah,
never seen this many rumors like that.
and even though Chris Young right now says, "Oh yeah, we're not trading Corey Seager," there's still a possibility they'll trade him, and that's
Yeah,
how baseball goes. These GMs are always working 24/7. You got AJ Preller saying, "I'm not trading Machado or Fernando Tatis," but if the right offer comes, he'll let him go.
dude. I feel like for Padres fans right now, it's a nightmare because they don't know what direction the Padres are moving to. They don't know
Yeah,
if they should believe that they're not going to trade Tatis. That's their fan favorite. They haven't even mentioned Manny Machado. He is getting older,
right.
So are they going to move him so Tatis can take over the team? There's a lot of questions on that team right now, and it sucks because they were up here and now we don't know where they're going to be next year. We don't know if they're going to have a good pitching staff. We don't know if they're going to have their great outfielder, which is the Tatis. And we don't know if they're going to make any trades for Jen Duran, like we were talking about last year in the training for trading deadline.
Yeah,
So it's a team that it's losing, value. It sucks, dude. It really does. It really does suck to hear a team that's super high have these nice, good players, and then they don't know what direction they're going to. They're going to start trading them off. So
yeah. It
it sucks.
looks like the Padres are trying to get rid of some money. It looks like financially the team is struggling right now. They have to get rid of this payroll. They have to stop spending as much. So I think they're gonna trade some of their pieces and try to start over. I mean, at this point, this Dodgers team is just too unstoppable. And no matter how much you spend, you probably still can't beat them. So it's crazy, but this Dodgers team is just too dominant right now, and it's impossible for a Padres team to come in and win. You maybe
Yeah.
just have to wait for another era.
Yeah. Just come home, Corey. Yeah. I like Corey Seager, but to be honest, I wouldn't want him on the Dodgers anymore. Just like Cody Bellinger. Why? Because these guys are already older. They already lived their Dodger time, and they didn't do anything with it. They just won that 2020 World Series, which a lot of people consider that World Series fake. And they didn't win anything else. So I think it's time to let go of these guys And then Corey Seager has back problems. He's only going to get worse as he age. And he's a great shortstop, but I wouldn't want him in the Dodgers.
Mm.
And like heard rumors and I read on it. That's why they traded Marcus Semien, because him and Corey Seager didn't get along. So that's negativity right away, right there. So
Yeah, I
right,
just feel like Corey Seager's been backed up recently. He just can't stay healthy, man. This guy's been dealing with injuries his whole career, but when healthy, he's a wrecking force out
yeah,
there
yeah,
in the lineup.
he's a great shortstop, dude. So all right, did we forget anything? I think we
I think
talked
we
a lot of
covered
baseball.
a lot of baseball in 45 minutes. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I know we have been out for a couple weeks. We're excited to be back to talking baseball. We probably will be back following 2026 season. I know we got lots more free agencies to talk about going forward. And then World Baseball Classic will be right around the corner to break all that down here and
Yeah.
power our Real Talk Baseball.
And see if we go to any spring training. I'm thinking of going to spring training or going to the World Classic. So it has to either be one or two, or maybe both.
Hey, man, I think
Gotta
it's a
save
good
up the
idea just
money.
to go to Houston and come back to Phoenix and then back to LA.
Oh, like a little road trip? Like, yeah, all right,
Yeah,
I get you.
yeah. We
We can
gotta
do
work
that.
back. Yeah, spring break.
We can do that. We can stop by and see some
We'll talk
baseball.
about it. I think we need to
Yeah.
make a quick baseball trip, man. Carlos, I know
Yeah.
you got kids out there, and you got to be a dad, super dad out there, but the kids got to let you out once.
I could take. Oh wait. I don't know if I could take one of them, or because then the other ones get jealous. So no, we'll see. we'll see what happens. But definitely, we got to make a trip and catch one of those world classic baseball games, and even spring training, because there's going to be a lot of news, a lot of new faces and new places. That's a lot of fun when you see like a Pete Alonso. I can't wait to see him in that Oriole uniform. I know
Oh
there's
man,
pictures already out there, but seeing them that stacked lineup, I think it's going to be fun.
Carlos,
Yeah.
I just want to mention this cool story. I guess I never told you, but I've been to a World Baseball Classic back in 2006 in Angel Stadium.
When it
It,
first started.
when it first started, the first ever World Baseball Classic, I actually got to go with some friends of my uncle. They were all in their 30s. I was the only teenager there with them. They were drinking beer. They even let me sip some beer, but
What?
maybe I shouldn't share this too much information. But I got to see the Team USA face the Mexico team, and that was wild. I got to see Roger Clemens pitch that day, and I was so amazed that I was gonna watch the Rocket pitch. Like that was the biggest thing in my life,
Yeah.
and it was one of the greatest games I could ever remember as a kid. And the Team Mexico actually won that game like 2-1. It was like one of the lowest scoring games. And watching Team Mexico with Vinny Castilla, Jorge Cantu, there's
I
special
remember
moments
those
in my
guys.
life, man. And it
Yeah.
was great to see top talent as a young kid. Team USA was like the heavily favorite, and just watching Mexico overtake them and beat them, it was like one of the biggest upsets I had ever seen in baseball. And I just want to throw that out there. If you're a big World Baseball Classic, or if you never actually tune in, it's one of the best opportunities to see your favorite players represent their countries, and you'll see they play at another level than they do in the MLB game.
How was the atmosphere in that time, though?
Let's talk about fans didn't like each other. There was a lot of Mexico fans, a lot of US fans. I was a kid. I was 16 years old. Wait, how old I was? I was 15. I was 15 years
15.
old, and I saw a lot of people just getting into fist fights. Let's just put it there. I had never seen so many fights. If TikTok and all those videos of fighting, man, we could have gotten a lot of content just because of that.
Just because of
Yeah,
that?
there was a lot of fights. I saw like a total of 4 or 5 fights that day. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was so crazy to me to see like a lot of fans just being really upset that Team USA lost. They couldn't believe it. Roger Clemens had just pitched. Derek Jeter was in this team. A-Rod was I'm not sure if A-Rod was there, but I know Ken Griffey was in this team. It
Yeah,
was
he
just
was.
crazy. Like seeing this top talented US team lose to Mexico. That was one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen, and it was an incredible game to go to.
Dude, do you think that the atmosphere then to now has changed? Because I know there's a lot more big names going to these things now. Like you have the United States team that is getting, all the stars. Because in
Yeah,
2006, it was more like a trial, and they still had like good players go, but there was
right.
a few big time players that didn't want to show up for the team. And then
Exactly.
you have Dominican Republic. Remember, in that time, they didn't want to send their big time players either. So
Yeah.
now
You didn't have
everybody
no
wants to go to
You didn't have no Alvar Pujols playing for Dominican. You didn't have
no.
no A-Rod playing for them. Times were different. It was a
Yeah.
trial run. It worked out. People liked it, and they came back, and it's never stopped.
It never stop. I think the atmosphere now is going to be 10 times, I want to say. Because the last time, look how we got into it. I got into
Yeah.
it, dude. I got into it big time, and I was watching every game, and it was
Damn.
like the crowd out there too. Like it was like a freaking party, dude. Like big
Yeah, man.
time party.
But I spent $40 for that ticket. And I remember exactly because I'm the one that bought the tickets for them and I used my friend's credit card.
$40.
Per
But in that
person.
time, $40 was a lot of money,
It
right?
was, but you're
Yeah.
gonna watch Roger Clemens, and I convinced all of them to take me, and that was one of the smartest things I could have done. Like, well, Roger Clemens, Ken Griffey, Derek Jeter's
Yeah.
gonna be there. You sure you don't want to go?
That's like an all-star team. Yeah.
And they took me. Yeah, man. I was with a bunch of 30-year-old guys there. I had a pretty interesting childhood. I knew so much sports since I was a little kid that I was always with the oldest crowd, and they were always talking about these older players. And I guess that's why I learned so much about the sports, NBA, basketball, football, because I always was hearing about these other great players and their
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
now when I brought it with my time, it was like, okay, I already know who they are. So, man, I'm just sharing. I think I'm talking way too much, but it's exciting
No,
stuff I need to share with people.
you're not talking too much. You're fine. I like hearing all these stories. This is perfect because this is baseball stories. This is kind of letting everybody know like how you started watching baseball, how you know all these players from back in the days. Because if you talk to baseball players or baseball fans now, they don't know about the 90s, 80s. They don't know about the 70s. You know,
Right.
players that kind of changed what baseball is now. So it's fun to hear like all those stories. Like for me, I had never been to a WBC game. I want to experience it. Like I said, we were into it 3 years ago. We were watching, we were seeing how the fiestas were happening in all these stadiums and how different fans are there. They have their drums, they have their trumpets. You know, Puerto Rico has their salsa going. You know, the Dominican has the drum going, and Venezuela, dude. It's so many baseball nations out there, and it just brings it together, kind of like the World Cup of soccer. You know, it brings nations together, and it's a beautiful game to watch. It's a beautiful game to experience if you're from different countries and you're representing your country. So
Exactly.
if we do it, man, it's going to be cool to do it. So I mean, I have seen a lot of players already saying that they're going to go play for Team Puerto Rico, like Nolan Arenado played for US. You know,
Mhm.
so now he's going to play for Puerto Rico. I guess his mom is half Puerto Rican, and he wants to represent her. So I think that's beautiful. I think that's cool because he gets to represent his dad in the U.S. team. Now he gets to represent his mom on his
Yeah.
mom's side, which is Puerto Rico. So that's cool, dude. And then you have all these Mexican American playing for Team Mexico, Jaron Duran, which is pretty cool. Like my kid, he's all into
Yeah.
Jaron Duran. And knowing that he's from out here in LA, he's like, oh man, I want to watch him play. I want him to come to the Dodgers. I'm like, oh, I
And
don't know
it's
if that's going to happen.
and it's exciting because most of the time we think these players are just all American, and you'll find out, wait, they actually come from these different type of backgrounds,
Yeah.
different other
Yeah.
countries. Their parents are from here or there. We would have never known that had they
No,
not had that WBC.
exactly. And that's the good thing. That's the good part of baseball, that it shows you their different cultures, different things that they do. But when it's time to play baseball, they all play the same game, dude. So that's what makes it beautiful. All right, man. Last mentions, dude, before we log out, man.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and commenting on the chat. We really appreciate all you guys for always stopping by and talking baseball with us. We hope to get on more often this offseason to continue talking with you guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Make sure to share to all your baseball friends so we can continue talking baseball with you guys here at Real Talk Baseball.
Yeah, everything that Ernie said. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video as well. I'll go ahead and make some shorts, but Ernie, I think we really need to make these shorts, dude. If there's a big signing, we just have to get on the phone and just do it and put it on.
We got to make
I
those
think-
reaction videos.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess people like those reaction videos. I'm still embarrassed by the one that's up out there. So I am embarrassed a little bit about
Carlos,
that one, but
you're
whatever.
viral, man. You're the most viral baseball fan out there right now. Let's just put it up there.
Dude, I don't know how the hell it's still getting likes. I think it should stop already. Like the World Series happened 6-7 weeks ago now, so like, and people are still watching it. I'm like, what the
It
hell?
won't stop. So the Dodgers don't stop losing, man. That's what's gonna
All right.
happen.
Kind of like with the Chiefs, dude. The Chiefs lost today at the end of an era. I saw it, and Patrick Mahomes got injured. Instead of celebrating, I was like, man, that's messed up. Like he's one of the top quarterbacks, and he got injured. And I know the Chargers won. And I was happy for that, but at the same time, I wasn't as happy that they won like that. I think they would have won it better for me if Mahomes didn't get injured, dude.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
yeah. All right. From all of us here in Real Talk Baseball and College Baseball, this is Ernie Orange. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.